we have written this query called select star from superstore. Okay, we got some records here. So let's say you want to filter a specific region. Okay, we have a column called, we have started the recording, right? Okay. So we have this many regions, right? West, East, APAC, and South, and all of that. Maybe imagine this is coming from a different table. What we can do is we can write one more query. Select distinct region from just wanted to comment. Okay, thanks. Yeah. So take a look at this query. It is nothing but simple. I'm basically fetching all records. There's no difference. So what here you see is this is called as a subquery. Okay. You can actually write subquery from anything. And we also created two tables, right? Employee and which one? Salary. Let's say we did select star from employee. Let's see the records. We have only one record. Let's also query salary master. Even that has one record. What about employee master? I wanted some table which has multiple records. Oh, we have city, right? Let's query city. We created city for that normalization, you remember, right? Now, what we can do is take a look at the sample superstore table. These are all the columns. Here we have city ID, right? So now what I want to do is I want to pass only those city IDs which are present in that city master table. Okay. So what I can do is I can say city ID in select distinct city ID from master. You can see all this 10,193 records. Now what I can do is I can also put a filter here. So at this point of time, we have superstore. We have a city ID in the column, but we don't have city name exactly, right? But what we have is we have another master table called city here. But here I have all the city names. So how can I pass and say that, okay, I want all those records from superstore wherever the city is London. Okay. Now, at this point of time, you cannot pass that because city name is not there in the superstore, but you have city ID. One way is, manually city ID is for London is 3. So you can pass that. What if you don't want to pass ID, you want to directly pass the name? I can go here. I'll say where city is equal to London. Now, if I run this query, I should only see the records where the city ID is 3. Okay, 1 second. Let's check. Select distinct city ID from city master. What was the column name? Okay, so this one is called as ID. There is no column called city ID, okay, which is 3. Now, if I run this query, You can see only those wherever it is London, it is getting filtered. Like this, you can actually pass anything as a subquery. You'll learn more about subqueries. Subqueries is simple. You have a select query. Within that, you can also pass another query as a filter, and you can also pass it in multiple areas. For example, in union, you will be able to apply this in joins, all multiple places. For now, you would be learning in the where clause. Okay, this is a one way of writing your subqueries. Can you write this and see if it is working? I guess you also have a table called city in your SQL. If you don't have it, then you can practice it with employee and salary. Is the concept clear on the subquery? Or you want me to repeat it again? Clear? So you can just, instead of passing hard coding static values, you can actually pass a query along with that, which will act as a filter. Now in this scenario, we are using in operator. Okay, remember in is what? We can pass multiple values. If I give is equal to, it will pass only single value. So you need to make sure your query is giving a output as single value. Is it working? It's working, huh? If it is not working, it's okay. You can practice it with better examples. Okay. It's working for you. Not working. You don't have any tables. Okay. Maybe you can take a look at this example. This is simple. Last time, if you remember, we were just grouping all the data by segment and region, right? Segment wise and region wise, what we want to know is we want to know what is the total sales and we want to know what is the total quantity. So we remember that since we are using sum function here, we need to ensure that we use a group by, and we are trying to order by sum of sales in ascending order. And this is the output, which is we have already seen the output of this. Now, this is just a select statement. Okay. If you go back and see your database, there is no object which is getting created. Always remember, whenever you write select statements, it only run when you execute. This is not getting saved anywhere. Even these results are not getting saved anywhere. For an example, if I run this now, and click on execute, only then you will see the results. The moment I close it, it's gone. Okay. Now we learned about creating tables from scratch using create table. We learned about importing the data from Excel to SQL using that wizard. What if you get a requirement that whatever the output of this should be created as a table? So create one table called region summary, or example, segment summary is your table name. And your table should have these columns, 4 columns. Save this as a table, like you have salary master, you have superstore master. But here, if you look at the catch is the results are basically dynamic, right? So it has to query all this table, get the results, group it, and then show the results. And that result has to be saved in a table. How do we do that in SQL? So it is really simple. All you have to do is select star into. Okay, into is means which table. I'll call this as region summary from.
Javed, just
Hmm.
1 second.
Yeah,
Are you actually typing in any commands here?
yeah, you are not able to see.
Right, because even if it's a connection problem, I can still hear you fine, but the screen display is actually getting
Uh,
paused here and there.
Let me stop and share my screen. Is it visible now?
Uh, yeah, yes, Javed.
Right? You are able to see, right? I'm writing a query.
Yeah, yeah. Now I can.
Now there is any problem for us. Sir.
Sorry.
We don't have any problem, sir. We can able to see.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so what we are saying is select star into. Into is basically which table you want to create. What is the table name? Region summary from. So after from, it can be anything. You can directly call the existing table, or you can also call your select query. So let's see if this query works. Okay. So first, let's go ahead and check if that object is successfully created. You can see there is an object which is created called region summary. We are just doing same last time you asked the question, right? Select statement or whatever is there. How do you save that in a table? So we are doing the same thing. So I made slight changes. I'll explain you in a bit. But first thing is you see there is a table which gets created here called region summary. And it has only those columns which were part of that query, which is segment, which is named as business unit, region as group. Then we have total sales and total quantity. So let's query this table now. Okay. So basically we are creating a table from a select query. So your select query is fully dynamic in this scenario. Now, what changes did I make here? Select star into table name. I want a new table to be created as region summary from. So since my query is a kind of select statement, so I'm just encoding that in a brackets. And finally, I'm giving something called alias. So this entire query, I will call this as A. We remember we learned how to create alias using as. Similarly, alias we can also create for a table. Okay. How do we create it for a table? For example, take a look at this simple example. Select star from region summary. I don't want to call it as region summary. I want to call it as R. You can give space R. Now this table alias name is R. Yeah. You can use R or you can use region summary. Now I'll say where R dot business unit. You can see it is automatically detecting the column names from R, though R is an alias name. R dot business unit is equal to consumer. You can see the exact results. So this is how we can give an alias. I think we can also give as, and it will work as expected. There's no change. It's not mandatory to give as, you can give space also, but if you want. So alias you can give for columns also, you can give for tables also, you can give it for your select queries also. So you will learn it in a while why it is important to give alias when we learn about joins. Okay. But if you look at here, the table which we created is basically from a select statement. So I'm grouping this entire statement into a bracket just to let the SQL know that, okay, this entire thing within the bracket is one part of my SQL query. And this entire output of the SQL, I will call this alias called as A. Now it automatically fetches all the output and store it automatically in region summary. Okay. Let's take another example. I'll say select star from superstore where segment is equal to consumer. You get a requirement from your team that only can you create one table for superstore only, but only the records should have consumer related data. It should not have anything else. Simple select query I'm running, select star from superstore where segment is consumer. And if you see here segment, everything is, where is segment? Everything is consumer. Now you want to create a new table with this query. Let's see how we can do that. Select star into. What is the table name? I'll call it as superstore consumers. From which query? From this query. You can see 5,281 rows has been selected. Let's go ahead and refresh our tables. You will see this one, superstore consumer. All the columns of superstore is now available in this table. Now let's take another scenario that they don't want all the columns. They want only order ID and the segment name to be stored, nothing else. So instead of star, you can just give order ID, comma, segment, which means what you are trying to do is this particular query is returning all the columns from superstore. But when you create a table here, it only takes these two columns. Okay.
Two columns and wherever the customer consumer
That will be done. Okay. Now let's create this as consumers 2 and run this query. You will see only two columns, order ID and segment. So you learned how to create a table using select query by using all columns, by using specific columns, right? Can you try it and see if it is working?
the alias field.
Hmm.
Only for our reference, it will be
Only
in the
for,
table.
not in the table. Is it working? It's working. Yeah. So what I did is I created one more table, Superstore Home Office, and it has all the records wherever the segment is home office only, nothing else. So overall, we have two tables. One table is for consumers and another table is for home office. Okay. You can check it on the left-hand section. You will should see all those tables.
Yes, both of them we are given name.
That is fine. This is a different query. This is a different query. They don't talk to each other here. Okay. Because here I have added colon. That is end of the table. Okay. We learned about this union in Power BI, right? Those who are coming from Excel, they must have not seen that option. But in Power BI, you have learned, right? What is the difference between union and merge or append? Very important question in interview. What is the difference between merge and append? We saw that option in Power Query, right?
Tables, thousand records each.
Mhm.
Fine,
Right.
it will also go.
Exactly.
Append is maybe something that there are additional columns. Combine. But in the link.
You are right. So let's explain this practically. Take a look at these two tables. I'll call this as EMP table. And let's call this as salary table. Think that these two are two different tables, okay? Okay. So what is merge? Merge is nothing but it will bring all the columns into one table. Okay. That is called as merge / join. Those who are learning from Power BI, it's easy, but for Excel batch, I'll explain what exactly is join. Nothing but you have some 10 columns on left hand side and you have some more 10 columns on your right side table. Overall, you have 20 columns, 10 plus 10, 20 columns. That is called as merge, which means you are bringing data right next to each other. How do you bring it? You bring it with some common key. Both of them, the common is what? Employee. Since these two are a common keys, you can able to merge. That is the requirement. If there is no common key, you will not be able to merge it. Now let's look at what exactly is append. What will happen in append, right? So basically, this record gets replaced over here.
Right below the other, right, Javed?
No, I'm just replacing it here. It will replace it here. Okay. So in an ideal scenario, it goes like this. 2 per salary and 3 per salary. Which means you are bringing data one below the other. That is called as append. Means you are appending the data. Here the columns will not increase. So what happen is the rows will get increased. For an example, we'll go and see in the sample superstore, we created two tables. One is consumers and second is home office. How many records do we have in consumers, superstore consumers? What is the easiest way to find total number of records in this table? Select. If you do select star, it will basically print all the rows, all the columns. Yeah. Select count star from table name called consumers. Okay, 5281. Same table, if I query it for home office, we will get to know what are the total number of records. Okay. Now, if I want to do union, what will happen here is 5281 plus 1823. Those two results will get clubbed into one. Okay. We'll see how we can union that in SQL. In order to union, you can select star from the first table, union, select star from home office. Now, if you see here 7104, which means here number of columns is not getting increased. Everything is same. You have example 10 columns in the first table, below table 10 columns. Everything is getting merged. Based on what condition it is getting appended, that is union is the thing. But how does it know ki order ID mein this table has order ID, this table also has order ID? How does it know that, okay, I need to go and insert the data in order ID? Common row ID. Because these two columns tables has same column name called order ID. That's why it is able to go and append the data. If the column name is different, it will not append. Okay. Now let's manually verify if this number is correct. 5281 plus 1823. How do we do the sum in select query? We learned about operators, right? 710. Now the result of this should be 7104. You can see here. Can you try union and see if it is working for you? You can add as many tables as you want. There's no kind of limitations. Okay. You can have 100 tables. You can bring all 100 tables union into one.
For each table, when we do union should be.
For every after select query, you should add union. Okay. Okay. Now, what will happen in a scenario where here we have example 10 columns and here we have 12 columns. We have two extra columns. And how does union work in that scenario? Will it work? How is it going to work? Can we create a sample and see? Let's say I'm creating same table. Let's call this as technology. Do we have segment called technology? Can you write a select distinct segment and tell me what do we have in segment? Consumer we have, home office we created. Corporate, huh? We have corporate. So we'll go ahead and create one table. Right next to it, I'll create one more column. That's the dummy column for time being. So what the dummy column will create is sales into quantity. Okay. Any doubts? I'm just creating a new table, which is called as Superstore Corporate. I'm taking all the records from Superstore. In addition to that, I'm just adding one more column, which is sales into quantity. I'll rename that column as total invoice. Okay. Let's query this table now. You see here total invoice automatically. Now let's go ahead and try to union this. You see, it's throwing up an error. So if you read an error, it says all queries combined using union must have equal number of expression in the target list. It means it should have equal number of columns. But this guy has one extra column, so it is not able to do union. That is again one of the most important question in the interview. Okay, how do we handle? Maybe in this scenario, we still want to go ahead and union that all this record. Instead of union, you can use union all. It doesn't care now how many columns we have and all of that, so it will automatically go ahead and club the data. Okay, so it will not allow because that result set is still not there. Okay. So another difference here is whenever you give union, it will take only the unique records and club it. Whenever you give union all, it will take all the duplicate records as well.
Yes, we got to know that. Yeah, total invoice value is the same.
So it was saying that the column is still not there. So I added a column on the select query.
So that can create.
No, that's what no, it's not allowing to create that. Can you try and see if it is working?
Oh, like the first column is subcategory product name sales one. It's like that.
Hmm.
That uniform order.
Hmm.
Next file. And when we go to home offices, it will be in different order.
It will still take. It will still take. It has nothing to do with the order of the column. Column name should be same. And another thing is the data type of the column also should be same. Okay. For example, if the row ID is integer in this particular table, and in this table it is string, it will not take. So the concept of append is simple. It will just club the data. Only condition is the number of columns should be same. And second is the difference between union and union all is union will take only the unique records. And union all will take, if same order ID is multiplied 3 times, it will still take in the union all. Now the result of this entire thing, I want to store it in a table. How do we do it? Mhm. Select. Mhm. Table name. And let's say final superstore. Okay. Hmm. Okay, anything else? But do you think this query will work? What is some most important thing is missing in this query? Star, right? Because what columns do you want to pull in final superstore? Star is missing. In SQL, it's all about syntax. If one syntax is gone, you will not be able to create it. You can see 10,194 records. Our actual superstore also has 10,194. Okay. Want to practice? Let's see if I remove union all and make it only union. You can see here 10,000. Clear? The concept of union and union all is clear, right? You will be using this union a lot in your day-to-day basis. Both in visualization and statements you will be using. So you have to practice this. Now let's talk about joins. How many of you are familiar with joins? Anybody has heard about joins? What exactly is a join?
If we have to join two tables, and it's any values, we will do it from the ones.
Hmm.
So we have this,
Hmm.
the left, join, the right, join.
Hmm. And
So-
what is the purpose of joining?
Also, when if we have to extract some data,
Hmm.
instead of both tables,
Okay.
and we have only that data,
Hmm.
so we will do it from with that breaks.
Okay. Yeah, Vimal, you are saying something?
No, Javed, it's the same thing. I was about to say that using the primary key,
Hmm.
as a source from different tables, we
Mhm.
would try to, merge the data into one table or
Yeah. And if we have to do that in Excel, how do we do it?
it's a VLOOKUP thing, right?
VLOOKUP.
Yeah.
So now, does VLOOKUP provide a control of bringing all the columns from the, let's say, 10 tables?
No, Javed.
No, right? How does the VLOOKUP go? VLOOKUP is a column specific, right? If you
Yes.
write one VLOOKUP query, you will get one column. So if I want to get 10 columns from employee table, 10 columns from salary table, I have to write VLOOKUP 10 times. So we learned about something else in Excel, right? Which was very easy to bring all the columns.
Dget.
Dget, no. Dget is like, again, it's a function which will get one column. Yeah. In pivot, what exactly is that? Relationships. With the help of Power Pivot, we describe the relationship, and now you can drag and drop and bring whatever columns you wanted, right? So behind the scenes, Power Pivot is doing same. It's trying to basically extract your data with the help of joins. Okay. Now let's look at our two tables. Our first table is Superstore. Second table is City. Okay. So the common between these two tables is ID. Okay. Now, if you look at in this table, we don't have any city names. We only have city ID. If you see here, how do you get the city name? With the help of joins. Okay. So there are different types of joins. We'll first understand what exactly is left join. Left is nothing but all the matching records from the left table. Okay. In this scenario, which is left table? This one. Which is right table? This one. And if you get confused, you call this as L. You call this as R. Okay. How do we write it? Select star from Superstore, left join. Again, your right side table, whatever is the table name, city master or on. On which column? So we'll say L dot. L is nothing but our left table. You can also call it Superstore. Both will work. L dot city ID is equal to R dot ID. Okay. Now, if you run this query, it will bring all the columns. You can see we got the city name, we got ID also. Why? Because in right side table, we have a column called ID. So it is bringing ID because our select query has star. In the left side table, we have a column called city ID. Even that is getting printed. Now in this scenario, it is bringing all the records because both the tables has all the values. There is no such record in city table which is not present in Superstore. That's why it is able to bring all the records. So the concept of left join is simple. All the records matching from the left table. What will happen to the non-matching record? It will print as null. Okay. Now in this scenario, let's take, you want to print only fewer records, which means you want all the records from Superstore. You'll give L dot star. You don't want ID from the city table. You want only the city name. So you can say R dot city. Okay. Now if you run this query, you will see all the columns from Superstore till profit. But from the right side table, city table, it will only bring city because you have only got R dot city. Got it? Can you write that left join? You don't have city column. Just create one table, no? If you want, I'll share you the select statement for this. Okay, I'll paste that query in the chat box. Please download it if you don't have it. It will simply create two tables, okay? One is Superstore and second is city. Yeah.
Why city master is in bracket?
I mean, that's how SQL understands, okay? So it is not mandatory because previously, I guess we had some space or something. That's why. Whenever you have a table name with space, always you have to give it in brackets. Else it will not understand. Same applies for column names. You are able to see the file? No. In chat box. Yeah, I'll paste it in. So basically all the records which are available in the left. Okay, so what we can do now, I will create one, we already have employee table, right? Both this table has one records, right? Let's go and add some record. We want to, yeah,
Three is four.
We don't have four.
that because I wanted to showcase left join example, right? So that's my.
Some condition.
Okay, that foreign key we have added, no? Yeah, sorry. Okay, now you take a look at this, these two examples. Okay, in employee table we have 3 records, and in salary table we have 3 records. But if you look at closely, we have 1 and 2 which is common in both. 3 and 4 which is not common in both of them. Let's go ahead and apply a left join. Select star from employee master, left join salary master on employee master dot employee ID is equal to salary master dot employee. Now if I run this results, all the records from the left side table, which is 1, 2, 3, matching records. So matching is these two, so it got the employee and salary. 3 is not matching, so it is printing as null. Okay, because that employee ID 4, which is only there in salary table, but it's not there in employee table. So you won't get it because here our left table is employee master. Now, only thing I have done is instead of calling employee master, I can give alias as EM. For salary master, I can give as SM. Now I can call this as em.employee ID, sm.employee. Same query, nothing else will go. Now, second thing which I have done is this employee ID 2 times it is getting repeated. I don't want that. Why is it getting repeated 2 times? This is from the left side table and this is from the right side table. So what I did was I said em.star. I want all the records from em, but from SM I only want salary. Now you'll see here. Clear? You can practice it both the tables, both are same. Any doubts on left join? What will happen if I change this? Instead of employee master, I'll put here salary master, and here I'll give employee master. Now, which is the left side table here? Exactly. Now the results are completely different. You can take a look at here. Let's go in. We have all the records from salary table, which is 1, 2, and 4. It went and it matched only these two because only these two exist in employee table. This employee 4, it's not available in employee table, so it is printing as null. 3 will not show up at all only because matching records from left table. So it will not figure out only which are the records not available in employee. Okay, it doesn't print anything for this thing. Clear? Now I want only the matching records from the left table and matching records from the right table. I don't want anything else. Only thing I have to do is remove left join and put inner join. And if you see here, the results will be only 1 and 2. 3 will also not come up. 4 will also not come up. Because matching records from both table A and table B, both left and right. Only then it will print the records. Okay. Now the next one is right join. Instead of left, you can add right join. So right join means it will take this table. So now you will see 1, 2, and 3. Same concept. Instead of left table, now it takes all the records from the right table Matching records, not matching records, it will print as null. Now, what if I want all the records, all matching, non-matching, everything I want? You can use full join. No, most of the times you will use either left join or inner join. You can see here from salary master, it has pulled up all the records 1, 2, and 4. It is also printing null because it has taken all the records from the employee table also. Employee table may we have 1, 2, and 3. But 3 record is not there in employee ID. Sorry, in salary table, it is printing as null. Salary is also not there, printing as null. Likewise, this employee ID 4 is exist in salary table, but not in employee table. That's why employee ID is null, employee name, date of joining, department, everything is null. This concept of null, it's very important. Please, remember that, because based on the question you get, based on the requirement you get, you have to apply that term.
Case, we also put it outer join also, full outer join.
This is full outer join.
We cannot put it only full join.
No, this is the syntax. Either you can use full outer join or you can use outer join. No, both are same only, but in Microsoft SQL Server, you have to write it as full outer join. Else it will not work. That syntax is like that. Maybe in MySQL, you don't have to write. You can just write full join, I guess. It will work. Yes. But in Microsoft, it is full outer join. Okay. Now, you are in a stage where you have learned basics of SQL. In this is the most important one. Okay. I'll give you an example why it is most important. Let's say I'll give this as left join. You're getting all the records. Now, we learned about this symbol, right? Not equal to. This is called as anti-join. Okay, so you have to be very careful with the symbols which we will be using going forward. Okay. Yeah. So it is basically trying to go to those records again and again. So we have 3 records, it goes 3 times and repeat that recursive one. Okay. So practice first with the left join and tell me if it is working. If it is working, then go ahead and apply inner join. It will look complex, but if you go through an example from a data like employee salary, it makes easy to understand. You will get 90% of your questions on interview is based on joins only. I think in one of the Power BI session, I also represented this in a form of Venn diagram. Anybody has seen a Venn diagram?
But we remember you representing that, Javed. You just used your
Yes.
Apple Notepad, I believe, to show all that.
Yes. So in Tableau, we have a concept of Venn diagram. I'll just say show that same example in Tableau. Don't worry, it is a very simple tool like Power BI only. Very simple compared to Power BI. Okay. I'm just connecting to SQL batch 3. What was the table name? Employee master. And then we had salary master. See here, this is a Venn diagram. When this particular shade is highlighted, it means it towards only the matching records from employee master and salary master. If I change this to, let's say, left join, all the records from employee master, only the matching records from the salary. Same thing if I go ahead and change it to right join, all the records from the right side table, only the matching. If you see this shaded part, only that gets merged. And the last one is full outer join, which means combination of both matching, non-matching, everything. Okay, you can, if you feel you can understand it better, you can use Tableau with the help of Venn diagram, you can get to your understanding. Shall we take a break for 5 minutes? Yeah. We'll be back by 11:45. Okay, please take a break for 5 minutes. Okay, we are back from the break. Let me know if my voice is audible.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Javed, can hear you.
Okay. So you want me to show some more examples for joins, or shall we move to the next topic? Some more example. Let's copy some data from. We had the production data, right? Let's take an example of this one. Items. Okay. Take a look at this. Maybe some of more, both of the batches would have seen this data production, which has all the brand level cycle sales data. So basically, they have maintaining all the orders of their cycles which they have sold in their table called sales.orders. Okay. Now, if you look at this column, we have order ID, which basically tells whether what order they have placed. It's a unique ID. We have customer ID, which customer has placed. We don't know the customer name here. Okay, we know the customer ID. Likewise, what is the order status? Then we have store ID and staff ID. Now let's check. There is one table called sales.customers. If I want to know what is the name of this customer, if I join customer ID, I'll get to know his first name and last name. Let's go ahead and first write our first query. What is that? Left join. What is the table name? Sales dot customers. Okay, on. So we'll give an alias here. We call this as O because it's an order table. We call this as C. What is the common? Order ID is not common. Customer ID. Now if I run this query, you can see here all the columns we got it. We got to know what is the customer's first name, last name, what is his email ID, where is this customer belongs to. Okay, we got around 1615. Let's say if I do inner join, which is only matching records from these two. I don't know if we have only matching records. We'll see if the numbers are changed. No, we have all the records, all the customers. There is no customer who is present in order table, not present in. We don't have any kind of that scenario. Hence, the result is same. Okay. But if you remember the beginning of my question, I wanted just the customer name. I don't want anything else. But if you see here, we are getting a lot of other columns from the customer table. How do we restrict that? Sorry? O dot star, because we want all the columns from the orders table. And from customers table, we want only the first name. And then we want only the last name. Clear? Now, if I want the first name and last name in the beginning of this result. So the beginning column is order ID, but I don't want order ID. I want first name and last name in the beginning. How do we do it? Okay. So let's go to the next column. So now we know the first name and last name. We know the order ID. So now let's take one more scenario. We don't want customer ID from this table. We want to remove customer ID from this table. How do we remove it? No, we don't. We should not remove the column. Remove from select query. Drop is a very dangerous statement. It is remove the data also. Okay. In select query, if I have to remove it, what you can do is, no, star will not work here. We have to manually select which all columns we need from this order tables. So I want first thing is order ID, then O dot, I want order status, then O dot order date. Yeah. Required date. And then what is that? Shipment date. O dot store ID.
In this order status, we remove what we do.
No, we are removing customer ID. We have done with shipment date, then store ID,
Yeah.
then stock ID.
Instead of typing everything, is there any reverse method?
No. So what we have done, comma we have added. Huh? No. My select query is saying invalid syntax. Okay. I got all the columns, only customer ID is removed. What I did is I manually selected all the columns. This method also you'll be using a lot. I am working in a project where I'm trying to use 200 tables. I need to remember. And no, manually not remember 200 tables. I need to remember key whenever I'm writing select query, what tables I'm using. So when you work with, let's say, payroll department, they'll say, okay, in payroll, everybody will not store in one table. Like here you are seeing, right? Customer ke liye they have one table to get the customer level details. And then for the store related information, they have one table. So here, in order to remember in my select query, I give alias which is easy for me to remember. So for me, my best practice is I'll give one letter of this table. Orders means O, customers means C. It is easy to remember. Okay. So now what we did, we have joined the customer information using customers table, and we know the first name and last name of this customer. Next is we want to know store ID. We know store ID, but where is the store? What is the name of this store? Where is this store located? For that, we have one table called sales.stores. If I query this table, select star sales.stores. I know what is the store name, Santa Cruz. That is the name of the store. What is the mobile number? What is the store email ID? Which city? All this is stated in this table, sales.stores. Okay. Sales is a schema name. Remember here. We learned about schema names, right? It's like folder name, right? Like we have database name, we have schema name. By default, what is the schema name? DBO. But here they have told that, okay, all sales related tables, they have given one common name called sales dot table names. For all other, they are giving production dot. That is their naming convention. Okay. Now, what is common between orders table and stores table? Store ID. How do we join store ID? The left join. What is the table name? Sales dot store. If you carefully observe here, I'm not calling my sales dot orders again. It's already called. I don't have to call it again. Okay. Store ke liye will give one alias name called st on o dot store id is equal to st dot store ID. Can you run this query now? Why are you not seeing any information of stores? Because in your select clause, you're not bringing any columns from ST. You'll get ST dot star. Now you got to know what is the store name for every order. What is the phone number, email, street, everything. But what was our requirement? Store name. I'll go ahead and call store name. Now you get to know what is the customer name. You get to know what is your store name. I want to remove that underscore. The name for column name is wrong. I don't want that is called as store underscore name. I want to call it as store name. How do we remove underscore? We learned about how to rename a column, right? As will it work? Will it work? Okay. Got it? Let's go to the next one, staff. Okay, for staff ke liye we have one staff table. Let's go ahead and query that. What do we have there? What is the staff first name, last name? Whether that staff is active or he has left the company. Who is his manager? Okay. So now you want to know for this order, I know the customer, I know the store. Who is that sales representative who has sold this order? I want this person name. What we can do? Again, we can do it. I'm using left join because here we don't have any scenario key. There is one staff guy here, but not present in order. All the staff present in this table is also present there. So that's why I'm using left join. So now sales dot staff. Now I told about alias, right? See here again, you can't give ST because this also has ST. You give whatever name you want. I'll just simply give staff. Okay, whatever you can give SF or whatever you want. Okay, on O dot staff ID is equal to staff dot staff. If I run this query, will we get the results? Yeah. What we need to add here?
Right. That's right.
What is the question? Like, what do we want? We want the name. Staff ka name chahiye na? So this staff dot first name, comma staff
Dot
last name. Okay. So this is the person who sold it. This is the person who purchased it. There is some slight confusion, right? Both the column names are same. How do we rename it? What is the name you will give here? Exactly. Always remember this, nobody will teach, okay? You have to apply your logic. This is the first name is staff first name. So nobody will come and tell rename this as staff first name. You need to decide what is the best name to give for your columns. Okay. So there is one project. There are 3 people in that project. Their job is this much. There is a Tableau team, there is Power BI team. They don't write any SQL queries. If you work in the big corporates, one person will not work on everything. Okay, Tableau guy is only responsible for Tableau. SQL guy is only responsible. But when they interview it, they'll interview both Excel, SQL, Tableau, everything. But there are, if you join any startups, you have to do everything. And these 2 people, as a SQL developer, this is their job. Tableau guy will say, tell me, give me one output in SQL query. All the order ID ka, I don't want order ID, the staff ID and all. I want their staff name, store name. Can you write one query and give me? They'll write this query and give. That's it. Their job is that. Hey, they'll say, hey, can you rename this column? It's not working for me. In Tableau, both duplicate names are showing. Can you rename it?
The first name and last name. Can we combine?
We can combine. Concatenate function. We'll learn about functions. We have not started learning functions. We'll learn about it. Okay. Easy. Now the join concept is clear. Now only thing is that just understand the difference between joins. Left join, right join. That is the most important is left join and inner join. You learn these 2 joins because these are the ones which you can every problem ka answer is available in left join and inner join. No need to use right join also. You just add not equals to.
Right.
Okay, these two joins are very important. As a trainer, I should actually tell you to learn all the joins, but I'm just saying, in case if you don't want to learn all, at least learn left join and inner join.
Many joins.
Left join, right join, inner join, full outer join. There is something called cross join. We will learn about cross join later. Okay. And in Power BI, there is two more joins, anti join. So the concept of left join में क्या है, left tables का matching है ना, तो not matching को वो लोग anti join देते हैं. But हाँ, but you don't have, because that concept is there only in Power BI and it's not there in any others. Even in Microsoft, there is nothing called anti join. Just that they are just saying not matching. You know? That's why they call it as anti. But nobody will say ask you a question, what is anti join? But they'll definitely ask you, these are the basic left and inner join. Now, if I want to filter this data, how do we do it? Though you are applying a join, but the joining condition is only where the ordered date should be only 2016 ka. You want to join all the records only for those orders where the year is 2016. Now you are joining everything. We learned about where clause now. Will it work? What is the data type? And what you are passing? It will not work. You'll see there are only two records. So there's a function called, we'll learn about the functions year, which means though it's a date, I will say year of order date is equal to 2006. Now you see the results. That's why I'm saying SQL mein kya hai na, it's very dangerous. Na? When you work with numerical or date related queries, you will get results. But what is actual results? That you need to double check one. Numerical data, not only in SQL, anything, even in data science, you will get output. 2 plus 1, 2 divided by 1, everything will get output. But with the output is correct or not, you have to make sure you know that's correct or not. Okay. Now we got the where clause filter. Now, if you look at the order of operation, is it like first where clause will be applied and then the join is getting applied? Join will get applied first and then where clause is getting applied? No. We learned about order of operations, right? First where will get applied and then all these joins will get applied. Okay. Now, what if you want to also, so far you are putting filter on O dot order date, which is on orders date. Also, you want to put it on store names as well. You want only data to be joined for this store name called Baldwin Bikes. How do we do it? We learned about AND function, no? And what is the column name staff ke liye? Yes, store, right? st dot store name is equal to. Now, you will get fewer results. See here, only Baldwin Bikes. Now, instead of store name Baldwin Bikes, take and all the records except Baldwin Bikes. Clear? So far, we'll be practicing this one only. Everything is on select state. Now, you want to store this results in one table. Select star into, what is the table name? I'll call this as production sales report. Okay, from, I'll embed this entire query. I'll call this as final report. Okay, now if I query this, you should see the same result. No, final report is not your table name. Production sales report is your table.
And
Final report is this query ka alias name. Okay. Clear? I want to sort this table by order ID from ascending to descending order. Order date jo hai na, I want to sort it in ascending to descending order. What is the keyword? Order by? What is the column name? We need to pass column name, no? Clear? So that's it for today. We will learn about some advanced stuff from tomorrow onwards. You can see, right, how from where we came and now where we are heading to. Okay. Huh? Yeah. So as of today, it's our 50% of our SQL session is completed. Now, this was the most important one, the joins part of it. The later is functions. Like I said, you have already learned about functions in Excel and SQL. Concept is going to be very same. Some function udhar kaise kaam karega, here also it is same thing. Only thing is you learn how to write it in SQL. But there are some more additional functions. SQL mein na, there are a lot of more functions compared to Power BI and Excel. Okay. Any doubts? Imagine we did the same exercise with the help of Excel. Which one is easy? We used the Power Pivot, no? With the help of Power Pivot, we did, right?
Javed, and honestly, I've been facing this problem even
Mhm.
after you started resharing your screen.
Okay.
So I'll practice whatever that you taught us today using the link what Ashwit shares me. And if any questions, I'll definitely ask in the
Sure.
next session.
Yeah, that will be
Yeah.
great.
And yeah, as I said, I only get to practice on my weekly offs,
Mhm.
so I'll do that.
Yeah. So that is fine. You can practice, but please make sure that at least whenever if you are attending, let's say this week a session, before you come to next week, you have like 5 days or whatever time. At least try to take a glance of that.
Yeah,
So-
that's exactly what I'm doing, Javed.
Yeah, yeah.
So before the next session starts, I make sure I make notes about the previous session.
Yes, yeah, that is fine. Then. And this is a ER diagram. I showed ER diagram in image also, if you remember. Same ER diagram, we can also create it in SQL. It is basically telling how each tables are having a relationship between each other. Sales table mein, store and staff both are connected to each other. Here in store table, you will get to know what is the store name. And in staff also, if you look at here, what is common here? Store ID. This guy belongs to which particular store? Example, Nike. Nike, there are so many stores in Bangalore. In Orion Mall, there is one Nike. So this guy, is it in working in Orion Mall? If you want to find out, you have to join these two tables. Okay. So likewise, every table is connected here. Brand also you see here. Directly, there is no connection between orders table. If you look at bottom, where is our orders table? Let's go here. See here. If you want to get to know this order, where the customer has placed, what is the product he has placed, what brand of order he has placed, you will not get to know. First thing is you need to join product ID. How will you join product ID? You see here, there's one line which is going here. See here, this line is joining to products. Once you get the product ID, in products table, we have brand ID. So if you join brand ID here, you'll get the brand name. Okay. Now, if I go back to my SQL, I'll quickly show you. Select star from order items. See here we have product ID. I want to get the brand name. I have to get the brand name. Production.products table on you'll see all the product names. Now, once you have the product name, then you can join production.brands p.brand ID is equal to you see we got the brand names. Okay. Now to make this report simpler, we'll see O dot star, comma, B dot brand name, comma, P dot product name. We don't want anything else. For every order, now we know what is the brand, what is the product. Okay. But if you look at ER diagram, it may look complex, but when you write SQL, it is very simplified. You are writing 3 lines of code. So ER diagram, if you want to get it in SQL, only condition is that all your tables should have primary key and foreign key. If you have not declared primary key and foreign key, it will not come up. In order to create it, I'll show you. Go to this diagram, database diagram, right click and click on new database diagram. Now it will ask you that, what tables you want to consider. I will select all of them. There are other tables in my table database. I'm not considering them. Okay. Based on that primary key, foreign key concept, it will automatically create it. Automatically, you don't have to do. You are already declaring in primary key, what is primary, what is brand ID is a primary key, but it's a foreign key in the product table. So it will know how to join. Any doubts? Let's summarize what we learned so far. We started with a basic subquery, how we can use a SQL query within another SQL query. Then we learned how to create a tables from a select query and then create specific columns from a select query, creating all columns, just adding star. And then we learned how to count total number of records using count star function. We did some basic maths to validate. We learned about union and union all, how to append your data between two tables. Remember that number of columns should be same. If it is not same, it will not come. That is applied for both union and union. And second thing is difference between union and union all is union will take only distinct values. Union all, as the word says all, it will take all the values. Then we learned how to create a table using our union. So we had plenty of tables. Superstore is not one table. It is divided into segments. Superstore consumer, superstore home office. We wanted to club and create one final table. We used union and then we wrote select star into. And then we learned about joins. We applied first left join using sample superstore and city data. Same thing, we showed an example on employee and salary table. We know the difference between left join and inner join, where one record was here, one record was not here. So we know the difference. Then we wanted one more example. So we went to that production tables. We did all the join to get customer information, store information, and staff information. After applying joins, we also learned how we can filter the data using where clause. Right? We are filtering a specific year, specific store. And then what else? That's it, right? Yeah. So tomorrow we will be learning more about functions. Joins, the concept is clear, but whenever we will get to work with data, we will be using joins again and again in our session. Okay. Okay, then thank you everyone for joining. Let's meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.